We are recording. Yay. So welcome everybody. Thanks for jumping on, especially with it being last minute, but we wanted to first and foremost congratulate everybody. If you're on this call, you were, exclusively invited. Yay! Because you sponsored at least one new ambassador, and most of you, I would say the majority of the list sponsored more than one, like 2, 3, 8, crazy things like that. So congrats guys, January was amazing. So yeah, we just wanted to, Janelle and I had been talking about, okay, like now we've got to, figure out how we make sure that we maintain all these people, keep the momentum up. And then we had some of you guys reaching out saying the same thing, like, what are we going to do? So we decided to throw this together pretty quickly. Janelle, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, so we're super excited, and it's just really exciting to see some of you guys that have been around for a while, like slaying January, and some of you guys that are brand new that have just jumped right in and are killing it already. So we're super excited, super proud, super expectant of what's going to happen this year on our team and on each of your teams, on our big team. So we want to make sure that you guys have a clear path to making sure this is true momentum, right? Because we had a great January, and business building bonuses are awesome. But I know that your whole purpose in signing that person that you signed or those people that you signed is not so you got a $25 bonus, right? Mm-hmm. The whole purpose in signing them is that either they're getting healthy, and we know that doesn't happen in 30 days, and or you're actually building traction to move forward towards your goals and or helping them reach their financial goals. Mm-hmm. So we have systems that we want to make sure that we are all utilizing so that people stick, right? Because that is important. All the work that you did to sign people is awesome. And how sucky is it if you sign them and they never come back again? That's not the point, right? The point is that they stick with you for a while and see the results they want to see. And so we want to make sure that we have communicated what is effective, what we know is statistically effective for keeping people around, and give you very specific notes on some of those things. So I think that is, that's where we're coming from tonight. And yeah, we know it's last minute, but we just wanted to hop on that momentum and not let February slip away. We want to make sure everybody is very focused on your goals and how to get people sticking and multiplying.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're just going to jump right in it so that we don't take up too much time, especially for late night East Coast people. So like Janelle said, the systems that we have in place, we want to just kind of reiterate to you guys. Some of them you probably already know about. Some of this might be just like refresher, reminder, like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. I'd say probably for the majority of you, that's what this is going to be. But first and foremost, I want to mention we have our bi-weekly Like a Boss Boot Camp. And then we have our new customer orientations. And we do those every other Monday. So first and third, second and fourth Mondays. And those are intended for every single new ambassador. Like every new ambassador should really join in on both of them. I would always encourage people to do both, not like, just like when you're reaching out to someone for the first time or creating your list, even we talk about not prejudging people. Don't, just because they've told you, oh yeah, I'm not interested in building the business, quote unquote, that doesn't mean you don't tell them about Like a Boss Boot Camp. Because Like a Boss Boot Camp is just a suggestion. It's just training. It might just pique their interest. And I don't know, I think Janelle's probably similar to me. But my story when I started, I had no intention of building this business. And my sponsor added me to a team page that I started poking around and listening to trainings on and caught the vision and got excited. And so if I had never, and she, tagged me and stuff, and I'm like, okay, what is this? I guess I'll watch it. So don't make the decision for your new ambassadors that, oh, they're not going to be interested in Like a Boss Boot Camp. Just tell them about it. Encourage them to join in on it, and it's going to set them up for success. And the mindset behind that is as well, beyond like just giving them the option to attend, is that like you really, if you care about your people, you want the best for them. And, you know, most of this business is personal development. We're helping people be better at them being themselves. And so if you truly care about people, then encourage them to learn and grow. They might pick something up. They might never do anything with the business, but they might pick some sort of personal development or growth or encouragement that pushes them forward to be a better person, and that they'll thank you for later. So Like a Boss Bootcamp, and then new customer orientation. New customer orientation is really heavy on product information. So again, every single person needs to be doing that as well. I had somebody listen to it the other week, and they were like, oh my gosh, now I want to order everything. Don't you want your new ambassador to come back and tell you like, oh yeah, now I want to order $600 worth of product? Yeah, that would probably be great. So it's all of these things we've created are so that you have these third-party voices, these people outside of you that are just reconfirming to your new people and your prospects, for that matter, you know, all of our other stuff, that it's just confirming everything that you've told them, or saying things that you might not be quite bold enough to say yet. So use those systems and those things. So those, you know, alternating Monday things are huge.
So just
go ahead.
Can I just reiterate? Yeah. So for the new customer orientation is this coming Monday. You guys have to add your people to that page.
Yes.
It's on one of those recommended pages on Team Legacy. Right. We can't do that for everyone. It's just too time consuming. That's your responsibility. Write it in your planner every Monday and write your ambassadors' names down so you're just not forgetting, because I know I cannot remember everybody on my team. So write it down. Mm-hmm. And then the following week will be Like a Boss Bootcamp, and it's an event. So two separate things. It's an event on Team Legacy, and Steph and I can add people, but we can't add people we're not friends with, and we just can't keep track of every single new person. You guys have to be responsible for that. So I just want to
that event, when we create it on Team Legacy, the Like a Boss Bootcamp, we can choose to invite our friends, but we're not friends with, especially these new people. They don't automatically get the invite, so you have to go in and invite them. So that was actually something that I forgot to have in my notes. So that's a little added bonus there. Otherwise, the next thing we wanted to touch on are welcome calls. So you'll see on the checklist that I threw on the event page that I'm also going to add onto Team Legacy after this, is the very first thing on that checklist is scheduling a welcome call with your new ambassador. And this goes for anybody, everybody, every single new ambassador. And truly, I have people that I do welcome calls with their customers too. That's a great way to set people up for success, no matter who they are. So do not, again, prejudge for them. Do not decide for them that they're not going to be interested in a welcome call. It's just policy. And when you come at it that way, you say, hey, this is just what we do. This is on Team Legacy. When we have a new ambassador, they hop on a welcome call. And I see a lot of faces on this call that have done lots of welcome calls with me, and I'm sure can confirm with you that they're great. They give your new ambassador another face to Plexus. And again, that's that third-party validation. You're sitting there telling them, oh, you've got to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. And they go, yeah, you're my friend, whatever. I'm not going to listen to you. And then we get on a welcome call, and there's this other person that they don't know, that they just assume is really successful in this business. They might not know anything about them either, but now they're also saying that, okay, I guess I'll listen. Or, we're talking about being consistent with the products. Another third voice saying, hey, you've got to do this. So that's the power in welcome calls, is giving them another face to connect to Plexus. It's a friendly face. If they ever have questions, they know that they've got connections. And you guys have probably heard the little saying that some people just stay for the cookies or come for the cookies, that they need that community. For a lot of people, that's enough to draw them in and keep them here. Like, they just want to be a part of something. They just want other people to have a community with. And so when they start to meet people face to face in real life, on Zoom, on a phone call, even better if you bring them to an event, that starts to draw them in and pull them in. So that is why welcome calls are important. You can see on that checklist if you've never done a welcome call before, or your upline has never done a welcome call before and they have no idea what the heck to talk about, and you're like terrified because you don't want them to like think that you're trying to like re-prospect them again, re-sign them up. I don't know why you'd be scared. They're already signed up. But if you're like, I just don't know what to expect, that whole breakdown is on the checklist that I added for you guys so that you can kind of see just the general outline of like what a welcome call should be. And it really should only be like 15 minutes. And, you know, unless they have other questions or they're really chatty and want to go down the rabbit hole. But essentially, you end up talking about what their why is, and that brings me to this In Motion magazine, which everybody gets in their welcome kit. So that reconfirms to them why they bought a welcome pack, so that down the road or tomorrow when they sign a new ambassador with a welcome pack, they know why it's important to have a welcome pack, because there's things of value in there that they already used. So In Motion magazine, page 3, it says on your checklist, their homework is page 3. They fill in their why. And so then on that welcome call, you guys can talk about why did you join? And that why, it gives them an option on here to circle better health. So whether they are business builders, if you want to categorize them like that, or whether they're just wholesalers, people that are looking for the wholesale discount and have health goals, that page is still applicable, just like the welcome call is still applicable. You're going to talk about their why. Talk to them about their connection with, you know, their sponsor whom they signed up under. Talk about products. And that's pretty much it. And I always throw in there, you know, I'm sure that your sponsors talk to you about how easy it is to cover the cost of your own products. As we've been talking about, you know, all the benefits and stuff. Has anybody popped into your head? That's a really easy way to open the door. And that gets them thinking, even if they thought, oh, you know, I'm not going to share this with anybody, they might be interested in covering the cost of their own products. And you're starting that step 1. So anything else about welcome calls, Janelle?
Nope.
Okay.
I was just going to add to this. So I know, I just want to kind of bounce off of Steph off mindset. So when I have some friends that are very successful CEO business people, and I know they're very busy. And when they say, Janelle, I want to talk to you, I have Tuesday at 8:00. I just say, okay, I can do Tuesday at 8:00. Because I know if they're going to talk to me that they made time for me, and there's a reason for that. So I want you to have the mindset when you're talking to your people, you're the CEO of your business. And it doesn't have to be, hey, I was just wondering if you wanted to schedule a welcome call. I mean, for the most part, people are like, yeah, I'm good. No, thanks. Yeah. But if you're going to say, hey, you're brand new, I have 8 p.m. on Thursday to do our welcome call. Does that work for you? That's very different. Do you see how it feels different? So I just want you guys to take pride and confidence in what you've done in January, and that you are your own CEO. And so act like a CEO. Don't act like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, that's okay, because you just fake it till you make it, right? That's what we do.
Yep.
So, and your upline is there to support you if you need verbiage and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for throwing that in. That also is mentioned on your checklist. Like, you don't ask them, you just tell them, this is the next step. You signed up as an ambassador, or you ordered your products. Hey, this is the next logical step, is that we're going to have a welcome call, because it sets you up for success. Okay.
Yep. So next thing on our agenda. So you can write your newbies Facebook post for them. If they have not already come out and posted on Facebook, write a post for them. And you can make it personalized to them. You can make it more generic. You know, I would recommend if you could do it a little more personalized, the better. That way it's just easier to jump off the ledge. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to wonder if they said it right or not. If you just type it and put it in the chat and say, hey, I wrote this for you. This would be a perfect first post. Take a selfie with your pink drink, or whatever your suggestion might be. They don't need to have the products before they start posting. They can start posting before that. And so it's easy copy and paste. I would recommend doing that with every single one of your ambassadors. Obviously, you can't force somebody to do it, but you never know who might just copy and paste and post it, even if you think like they would never post. Just give it to them as an option.
I want to back that up, what she's saying too. My sponsor didn't give me the exact words to say, but I was not interested in building a business, But when my products came, I was excited and took a picture and sent it to her privately. And she simply suggested, hey, you should post that on Facebook. And I did. Like the power of suggestion. So, and going a step beyond that, we would suggest writing and post for them. And the reason we suggest it is because it works. And it's working. You know, we've looked at and studied the most successful teams in Plexus, the teams that are growing like crazy. What do they do for new ambassadors? They write their own posts. They don't just like suggest it or just tag them in a post on the team page that suggests it, but they literally write it up for them, send it to them, and ask if they'd post it.
Yeah. Okay. And then also in that, you tell them you're going to post, and when people want information, you simply say, I'll private message you.
Yes.
And then when they go to private message them, immediately put them in a 3-way chat with their upline so that they don't have to know any answers. They don't have to be scared about what they're going to say or know anything about anything. So you're prompting them and you're really setting them up for success. So if you've never done 3-way chats, it's pretty simple. It's not intimidating. You're not the closer. Mm-hmm. You're simply another voice. Like if you're having coffee and you walked by your new ambassador and their friend and they grabbed you and say, hey, that's my friend Janelle. She knows a lot about products. Come sit down. It's just like that. Mm-hmm. And if I were in a 3-way chat, I'd say, hey, you know, my name's Janelle. Plexus has helped me in so many ways. It's helped me with my allergies, my osteoarthritis, with losing weight, with acid reflux, and I was able to get to a point where I was able to leave teaching to be a stay-at-home mom. I'd love to answer any questions you have. Tell me a little bit about your health issues or your health goals. And then I basically ask a lot of questions because you can't just say, you know, take these products without knowing what they need. Ask a lot of questions and then give suggestions from there. And so through this is training for your ambassador. That signs someone, and they're basically watching everything you do. And after, you know, you gauge when you kind of release them to go free without you, but it helps them close the deal. And if we can get them customers and ambassadors right away, we know they're just going to, statistically, they're going to stay around longer. And even if they don't, they'll hopefully have PV or ambassadors that will help you out so that something duplicated and that will stick around longer.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on 3-way chat? Okay, cool. So next thing on our list that we wanted to touch on was mindset, and really specifically scarcity mindset. So the reason I wanted to bring this up was because, you know, Janelle and I started talking about like, okay, well, how do we keep this momentum? Like we have this is great. How do we keep it? And I started hearing voices from other people saying like, oh, I'm worried about, you know, what's going to happen. And my own mind like slips into that. It's just natural for us to be like, okay, this is all great, but like, what if they all disappear tomorrow? Or what if February I can't sponsor anybody? Or what if I've run through my entire list? It just happens. It's natural, but we have to choose to catch those thoughts. We have to choose to be aware that that's happening and that those thoughts don't serve us. So slipping into a scarcity mindset, thinking like, oh my gosh, maybe there's nobody else in the world that I'm going to be able to talk to about Plexus because I just signed 8 people this in January, and that's clearly, you know, the maximum I can do. That doesn't serve you. And you know, what we think about expands. Like what you focus on grows and expands. Like physically in your mind, your thoughts create your reality. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's no one left, or oh my gosh, I don't know how to start a new ambassador strong. Oh my gosh, I've signed people in the past and they just left me the next month. Well, if you're thinking all of those things, then you're creating your reality, and that's not the reality you want. So we have to choose to take captive those thoughts and replace them with thoughts that actually serve us. And so, you know, basically, you guys probably saw my video about getting out of the funk. If you haven't, it's fantastic. I'm so great. No, it's on Team Legacy. But it goes a little bit more into depth about this. But essentially, you know, first and foremost, being aware that you've had that thought, that like your thoughts are kind of spiraling in that direction, choosing to stop it and choosing or understanding that you have the power to not allow that to be part of you not allow that to be part of who you are, and then replace it with the truth, because that's not the truth. Whatever that scarcity is not the truth. There really are a million people, that I could potentially be connected with, or billions of people that I could be connected with. Or I do have the ability to start somebody strong, and I have tools and resources and an upline that I can go to, and we will do this. So you have to acknowledge that you've had the thought and then replace it with truth. And so I give some other examples in that video, but I just wanted to touch on that scarcity mindset, because if we go into February with the mindset or the creeping thoughts, even if we haven't even recognized them, that well, February can't possibly be as good as January, then it won't be. But the truth is, why not? It can be. If we continue to do what we did in January, what we did in December to set up for January, then February can be even better, and it can move us forward. And so the last little thing I wanted to say about scarcity mindset, there's a book that's my kid's book. And I read it one time on the teen page, and I think I'm going to read it again soon, but it's called Jonathan James and the What If Monster. And it makes me laugh, but it's so applicable to our business and to exactly what we're talking about here, that this little kid goes around and he's scared to jump in the pool, and there's a little what if monster kind of on his shoulder following him around every day, and he wants to jump into the pool, but the what if monster says well, what if you can't swim? And if he wants to run a race, and well, what if you lose? What if you're not in first place? And he sees a girl on the basketball court and wants to be friends with her. Well, what if she doesn't like you? What if she doesn't think you're funny? And so we do this all the time. It's our thoughts that just creep up and say, well, what if, now what if monster. And in the end, what if the what if monster is completely wrong, and you are the complete opposite of all that? What if you jump in and you can swim? What if that person that you are scared to talk to ends up being your best friend? What if that person that you're terrified to reach out to about Plexus ends up being the next time an ambassador on your team? What if, it goes on and on and on. So recognizing that what if monster is there, and that you can choose to change it, is basically what I want to leave you guys with when it comes to mindset and all of that. Any other thoughts, Janelle?
No, that was perfect. All right, I'm going to move on to subscriptions. I know some of you are probably like, okay, I know, subscriptions. Okay, here's the deal though. Really, really and truly, we know statistically, if they don't have a subscription on, the likelihood of them ordering again is very low. Mm-hmm. And so that's just the reality. We've got to sign people first. When we're signing people, we've got to make it clear that they need to be on the products for at least 60 to 90 days. If they're not ready for that commitment, they probably should not be an ambassador. If they're not ready to commit to triplex, or whatever combo that's going to get them over 100, it's not worth it to be an ambassador. It's like getting a Costco membership to buy applesauce. That's not worth it. So with that said, we've all signed ambassadors. Actually, our numbers are much better than they were a few months ago. I ran my numbers. It was bad. It was 50 to 60% had their subscription on. This was maybe 3 months ago. Maybe September. So maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And right now we're at about 80%. So that's a huge jump.
Yeah.
But I know I get all the reasons why people tell you they don't want a subscription, or why you might feel scared about asking people for a subscription. And I will speak to my personal point of view. I was one that never pushed subscriptions. I never did, because I was just nervous. I didn't like the feel of it. I felt like I didn't want to ask that of people. But really, I've had a mindset shift that we do people, good job, baby, that we do people a disservice if they don't take the products consistently. We do our people a disservice if they buy only one time. And we don't set them up for success if they don't have a subscription on. So be that CEO, put your shoulders back, be proud of what you do as a Plexus ambassador, and be confident that we know what is going to lead someone to success. So Stephanie made a great quick video on the team page. If someone doesn't have their subscription on, it's your responsibility to reach out to them and tag them on that video. We are trying to make it as easy as we can, as simple as we can, but it's still your responsibility to reach out to them. So make sure if someone doesn't have a subscription that you are reaching out to them to help them get that subscription on. And just kind of like what we talked about earlier, it's not true momentum if they only buy one time. And we are here to help you make sure we're getting forward movement towards your personal goals.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of to tag onto that, it's not true growth, period. Like if they use, like Janelle kind of said in the beginning, if you sign them up and you get their $25 business building bonus because they ordered a welcome pack, that's fantastic. But you're stagnant until they actually hit that 100 PV the following month. Then that means actual growth for your team and growth for you towards your next promotion, towards your next rank advancement. And if you're really brand new and listening to this and you're like, what is that? Like, how does that even, what are you talking about? So when you go silver, you only need 3 people on your team with a welcome pack. Cool. Every level, every promotion beyond that, rank, that's the word I'm looking for, every rank beyond that, gold, senior gold, so on and so on, it all depends on Plexus pay points. You don't get a Plexus pay point from someone until they hit the following month and beyond, they hit $100 in personal volume on going through their account, whether that's from a customer or their own order. So again, that's part of why subscriptions are so important, because their subscription is going to go through, then you already know. But first and foremost, it's, for their success, but then you can count on them. If they have their subscription on, you can project ahead of, look ahead into the future and say, okay, her subscription is on. So then I should expect that her order is going to go through. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to check that on the day that it's supposed to go through, that it does process, that everything goes okay. But then I can essentially count on that and look ahead and say, okay, if everybody that has a subscription on this month hits that subscription, it goes through and they hit 100 PV, then next month, that means I have 20 Plexus pay points. So I'm, a fifth of the way or whatever to gold. And then the same thing for the next month. So then, February, we add 3 more people to our team. Well, if their subscriptions are all on, then that means the following month, I can expect a growth of 15 points and so on and so forth. So once they actually hit, then you're growing. But if they don't actually hit their 100 PV the following month, then you did all of that work and you didn't get anywhere. You got a bonus and that was it. So, yeah.
And just to reiterate, you guys, you've got to be checking your reports.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just check it at the end of the month to see what your points are. And if you're new, I know some of you are very new and you're like, I don't know anything about reports. There was a training on our team page on how to go through your virtual office, but you always can ask your sponsor. Your sponsor is always your first line of, education. So if you're intimidated by your reports, it's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. But you should be checking your reports at least weekly and checking whose subscriptions should have gone out, and then seeing, if there was a problem. If you guys have a problem and you've contacted customer service or something comes up, the jewels on this team are here to help you. But it's really hard when we get like 10 problems on the 31st and it's 3 p.m. and it's about to close. And it's really hard. But if you're giving us stuff intermittently, we can knock those things out really quickly. Yeah. And if maybe a credit card declined because there was an error of some sort, if that happens on the 10th of the month and you don't catch it to the 31st, well, they've been out of their products for 20 something days. And chances are they're like, meh, I'm okay. Like I don't need it anymore. So you guys have got to be on top of that. Check your reports at least weekly. Write it in your calendar. This is the day I'm checking my reports. And, check your customer reports too to make sure you're on top of that, following up with people and all that good stuff.
Yes. Preach. Okay. Our next note here is we wanted to talk about the importance of getting people to promote to silver. So we had a lot of silver promotions even in January. And then all of you are here because you've sponsored at least one person. So you've got new people on your team. And so wouldn't it be amazing if you then, got at least 1 or 2 people on your own team to promote to silver? That's 3 people, 3 new ambassadors on your team for each person that goes silver. That's fantastic for you. But what's really awesome is that means a few things. For your new ambassador who then goes silver, that is huge belief building first and foremost. getting that first Plexus paycheck, even the business building bonuses are pretty cool. Like, oh, wow, that was $25. Like, they're going to send me real money. But getting that first monthly paycheck or having that $100 silver bonus on it, plus their commissions and all of that, that is huge for building belief. Like, wow, they're like not messing around. And people start to realize, like, I only did a little bit. Like, I didn't really even do all that much, and I'm getting a decent paycheck, or, I barely did anything, and I'm already covering the cost of my own product. Maybe there's something to this. So belief is, the biggest reason we want to help people get to silver. Second, that means they have money coming in from Plexus, so that allows them to continue with their products, even if they end up having some sort of financial difficulty. If they have money coming in from Plexus, then they're going to stick around, or more likely to stick around, because they can remain consistent on their products because they're being paid for. And then third, that means a ton for attrition, retention rates, really. And so I wanted to share with you my own actual numbers from our team about silvers and retention. So here's the difference between an ambassador who signs up and never goes silver versus an ambassador who signs up and goes silver. So in 2017, for Team Legacy, my levels and down, we enrolled 848 new ambassadors throughout the year. By November, only 201 of those still were commissions qualified in November, meaning we had a 24% retention rate. 24% stayed on. Versus of those new people that signed up in 2017, if they went silver or above in 2017, their retention rate by November was 74%. So almost 80% versus 20%. Like, huge difference in retention. And so if you can get someone to silver, that builds their belief, that helps them stay consistent on the products because they have money coming in, that means retention for your team, and retention is what you want. We talk about retention and attrition, and if those words are like kind of foreign to you, attrition means people fall off naturally. And that's just kind of the business that we're in. And you kind of have to get used to that and understand that from the get-go. People are going to come in, they're going to stay a while, they might leave. You kind of have this little drain, a little funnel that's coming in, going out, and that's okay. So you can't be emotionally attached to all of that, but you can do things in the middle of the funnel to try to keep them from flowing back out. And so that's why we talk about retention, and getting people to silver is one of the biggest things that you can do to keep them in that funnel, keep them from draining out. And those numbers just speak volumes to me, at least.
And like, what an epic time that Plexus has given us a reason to follow up with every single person that signed, even if they were just a wholesaler. Steph and I were wholesalers. What if your wholesale ambassador is your next jewel on your team? Mm-hmm. What if, like, we were not interested in the business at all? And so it's a great excuse to reach out to them and say, hey, did you see that email? Silver is only 3 people with a welcome pack. That's it. You can totally do 3 people this month. That is so easy. And you just breathe that belief over them. You can totally do that. Who else would want to get healthy with you? If you went to the gym, who would you call? Would you call your sister, your cousin, your mom? Let's call them right now. Breathe that belief over them that they can do it. And they're going to get friggin' $200. That's incredible. And you're going to get $50. So what a great, I love that corporate's doing that. This is what I've heard, that corporate's working in quarters. So it's going to all make sense that January was all about adding. February is all about helping those people multiply. I don't know what's coming in March, but it's all going to be in sync. So stay in line with what corporate's offering, because it's very intentional. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to mention one other thing. I have been telling my wholesale ambassadors that are like, absolutely not, I'm not doing the business. I don't want the business. And they keep signing customers. And I'm like, okay, I know you don't want the business, but you keep adding customers. So just in case you want to sign an ambassador, you can make money. But there was a really great video on Team Legacy by Abby Kappa. She's the youngest diamond. She's like 23 or something crazy. She was a single mom when she started Plexus, super young, and has gone all the way to the top. And she did a video on Plexus or groceries. Some of you guys have seen it. And she basically talks about sharing Plexus is not necessarily starting a business. So doing Plexus with your mom and your best friend is not necessarily starting a business. So this is a great way to present it to people on your team that are absolutely opposed to doing the business of Plexus, but they're kind of digging the products. They think it could help their family. You can reassure them, you are not launching this crazy business that you're going to have to, spend all this time on. You're just sharing what you love, and your family and friends are enjoying it with you. So if you haven't seen that on Team Legacy, just search Plexus and groceries. That's a great one for you to watch for verbiage, and then you can share that with your new ambassadors, or kind of take the verbiage and talk to your new ambassadors about that.
Sweet. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one more thing. It wasn't on our list, but I know a lot of you guys set goals for January. And so if you haven't taken the time to set your goals for February, set your goals for February and write down how many ambassadors you want to sign. Write down how many silvers you want to promote this month. Write down how many customers. All of you guys should be going to convention, and all of you guys should have a convention goal. So if you haven't set that goal, talk to your sponsor, talk to your upline for some accountability. If you don't have maybe a rank or a customer goal, talk to your upline, and maybe you're kind of struggling with that. Talk to your sponsor, and if your sponsor is maybe not working this business, you can always go up. If the person above you is not working, you can always go above that person. Our team, I feel like we have the very best team in Plexus because everyone is so available, whether they're above you, under you, next to you. I just feel like we have such a great culture of helping each other out. So don't be afraid to reach out and say, I'm really scared, or I don't know what to do, because we're all here to support you in that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Anything else?
No, I just one more plug for the list that I gave you guys the link to. I'm going to post it in Team Legacy, but it's essentially everything we talked about. So we just wanted to make sure that I'm just going to share my screen really quick, but I want to get you guys off here in just a sec. So we just wanted to make sure that we left you with like an actual plan of action. Like we can talk through all of these points, but I want you to leave tonight knowing, okay, my very next step is, and so it's 2 pages, but really focus on the first page. So I signed an ambassador. Now what? First and foremost, schedule a welcome call. So your next step would then be schedule a welcome call with every new ambassador that you signed. Look down if you've got people on your team that have signed people, make sure you're talking to them about that too. Like, hey, listen, we can do a welcome call. If you're terrified and you don't know what to do, talk to your upline. And then there's that call checklist that I told you guys about that really breaks it down. It even gives you like the questions to ask and everything. And I want to say, all of these steps, there's only like 4 or 5. They're dependent on the person doing the first step that you gave them. So don't give somebody like, here's this whole checklist, go do it. You do everything, bite-sized baby steps for people. People need to be told what to do. They like to be told what to do, most of them, unless they're me, unless they're red. But for the most part, like Janelle said, people are joining this business. They have no idea what they need to do to be set up for success, whether that's with the products or the business side of it, or both. And they're looking to you to be the expert and to tell them what to do. So don't ask, tell. Schedule a welcome call. Once you've scheduled that and they are showing, they're willing to do that and show up for it, then you're helping them write their first post. Those are kind of congruent, like kind of at the same time. But you write their post for them, you send it to them. If they then post it, then you can move on to the next step. If they're not, they have to show you that they're doing the work. And you, in turn, have to teach them how to be deserving of your time as well. So I don't want you to like feel like you have to like keep, you write the post for them and then you keep coming back. Oh, okay, now you need to start your list. Well, they never did anything with the post that you gave them. And then you keep checking it. Oh, have you done your list yet? Have you done your list yet? Have you done your list yet? Well, clearly they're not doing anything. Don't, ditch them completely, but they have to prove to you that they're taking the steps. So then directing them to start their list. Then once they've actually taken a step, in that direction, then you ask them to identify 2 groups of people, the dirt people that you can see there and the people who are successful, people that would buy dirt from them, I should clarify. And then then if they do that, then you start drafting how to reach out with them. So I just wanted to show you guys that briefly.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's not on there, but I think we kind of assume you're going to add them to the team page.
Oh, yeah.
Even if they're a wholesale ambassador, add them to the team page. And we are trying to make sure that we have stuff that's for wholesalers that maybe never ever do the business, but you know, you never know who might get a little bit curious about the business side just by being on the team page.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys feel free, if you have stuff that you see that's awesome, like this is your team page. It doesn't always have to come from your jewels. It can be, you know, if you saw something, I saw Susie posted about the email today that we got from Plexus, and I think Danielle posted something. So take ownership of our page and feel like you can post stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be beneficial for everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm excited. You guys are the cream of the crop. You guys made it happen in January, and so let's make it happen in February. Let's use all the incentives that Plexus gives us and make all the money that they offer to us and help our teams do the same.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Thanks for jumping on, guys.
Say hello.
She needs to tell you something.
Oh, what do you have to say?
Poop on the foot and
You pooped and peed?
No, she just.
Oh, good job.